Finally, out of that creepy old school. It would be fun, they said. You're not gonna be shanked, this said. Meanwhile, I'm stuck here with this little white furry bastard who keeps trying to offer me cryptic contracts and ROBYN's still not back. I know we could throw a party. Or I could, review some anime or some shit for Halloween to keep everyone entertained, I guess. Or I can go back and play more School Idol Festival. It is always a good time to play some School Idol Festival.
Or you can make a contract?
Not in 100 years, you furry thermodynamic heat conductor.
Fine. Why don't you review this?
How do you know my Funimation and Crunchyroll account passwords?
That is none of your information, and who cares? Now, roll the intro. Contract?
Hey, no, wait! Mahiru Shirota hasn't always had it easy. Adopted by his uncle after his mother was hit by a car, he lives by the motto that simple is best. So to keep up with this, he adopted an adorable little black cat and named it Kuro. However, after hearing about a vampire rumor from his friends, he heads home. Instead of finding his new pet cat, he finds a young man lounging around watching TV, eating his food, and playing a PS4. Hopefully playing Overwatch. The boy reveals himself to being a vampire, but rather than being out for blood, he just kinda wants to lounge around. However, he warns Mahiru not to say his name. Of course, this is a shonen series, and Mahiru has to open his damn yap.
How to explain? Vampires like me only drink blood from the master we have a contract with. And we follow our master's orders even if they're bothersome. There's a name for vampires like me. But there's really no point in telling you if I'm being honest.
Hey, could you at least try to not get crumbs everywhere?
Thus, Kuro and Mahiru are bound. Okay, well, at least bound for 24 hours unless Kuro has some of Mahiru's blood. So when shit hits the fan and Mahiru's friend gets attacked by a vampire magician, Kuro becomes Mahiru's Servamp, or servant vampire. Now bound together as Eve and Servamp, they must stop Tsubaki, the quote-unquote 8th Servamp. All Tsubaki wants is war, a war that will cause the Servamps to come together and finally face what the Servamps teacher and master wanted.
I know what to call true vampires who make contracts with humans. It's written in the cards here. You are a Servamp. Meow.
Now I know Shannon did a reaction to this series a while back when the first 4 episodes of the show were out, and quite frankly, Servamp didn't have much going on for it then. Now that the show has finished, how do I personally feel about the show? I guess it's a show that happened. Don't get me wrong, Servamp isn't terrible or even that bad, but it's not that great either. It's just somewhere meandering in the middle. It's like the white bread of shonen fantasy shows. Sure, it's practical and useful, but you're not going to win a cooking show on it.
That's not gonna be high enough! If that thing falls back down on us, we're dead!
Nah, this'll be fine. These situations always work out. The bag will explode in the air while we watch.
No, it's already coming back down!
And frankly, that's why I'm on the fence about outright recommending it as a whole. For starters, let's talk about the animation and music for once instead of using that for last. It is exactly like the rest of the show. It is not bad, but it's not amazing either. There are a few rather standout pieces, such as in Kuro's inner turmoil, and for another character's past. While normally I don't call out many studios, I will this time because I expect better from Brainspace. This is the same studio who did shows like Baccano, Durarara, One Week Friends, and the Natsume Book of Friends series. Frankly, I felt the animation was phoned in most cases and rather underwhelming, especially the series ending animation. Like, guys, I get it. Blood Blockade Battlefront's ending was popular, but I've seen fan animation videos that were better than this ending. And as for the opening, we're gonna get back to that later.
I'll have to do it!
We're here for the win!
And now for the biggest, meatiest problem of the series, its characters and story. No offense, Mahiru is bland. He's an everyman, a simple thinker, but honestly I don't see what the hell makes him main character material. Hell, I don't see why any of the human/Eve characters should even be in this anime besides Lix and maybe Mikuni. None of them get half the development that they should. Misano is a rich, angry Shoto with a dark past, and Tetsu is a giant middle schooler with the kind of heart who oddly reminds me of the human version of Big Mac from My Little Pony. And honestly, every other freaking human character was basically one-off side characters, and every other human character we freaking meet in this show are just one-off side characters with oddly good voices. In fact, the only real point of tension for Mahiru was the fate of his friend.
Aren't you afraid someone from school might see your current state? It'd be pretty obvious that you're a vampire. Right, Sakuya?
That doesn't matter to me anymore.
We learn that Mahiru's best friend Sakuya is actually a subclass of Tsubaki. Subclasses are the friendly neighborhood term for a human at the brink of death who is turned into a vampire by their Servamp. Subclasses are also not allowed to disobey their masters, and therefore Sakuya will have to forever follow his master Tsubaki. And there's another fact that Sakuya may see the melancholic Servamp as something more than just a master. Of course.
Ow! What the heck? Sakuya! Come back here! We gotta talk!
Talk? What, are you out of your damn mind?
Of course, this gets hinted at a tad in a few episodes, but honestly is not brought up again until the final frickin' episode. Even then, some of the Servamps are barely developed either. Old Child is a tiny little prideful bat with an arsenal of spies, and Snow Lily is an effeminate fairy godfather who keeps making kid subclasses, and seems to be hinting at why Misano and Mikuni do not like each other. Also, according to my friend Jaren, he's irresponsible because making that many kids into subclasses means you're going to have to kill a lot of people to make a lot of blood, and whoever has the most blood rules the land. $5 for everybody who's seen History of Japan.
Are there chips?
Bad cat.
Also, we never meet Wrath and Envy fully, only seeing them in flashback. And yet there's all this hype built up around the 7 Servamps versus Tsubaki and his army. Speaking of Tsubaki, he's actually one of the few redeeming factors to the series. As a villain, he's absolutely batshit insane. He also makes puns.
Who do we have here? What an unexpected surprise. Do you come here often, big sushi fan? Don't look so glum. Here, can I interest you in a little salmon roe? It's excellent. Not interesting at all.
I like puns! Kidding aside, I do enjoy how despite how ruthless he is to the Eves and Servamps, he does genuinely care for his subclasses. While most shows would take the route of the crazy guy being crazy to damn everyone, including his own minions, they use this to show he's a more complex character. But of course, this show doesn't like to let me keep too many nice things for too long, like that opening, but of course this—
It's the only card we have to play.
Don't you have anything interesting to say?
Kuro is probably the second best character in the show. Adorable as all sin and cat form, Vampire Kuro presents an odd dynamic to the shonen lead. While resisting the call is an overused trope, the real reason behind Kuro's consistency is actually quite well done. Like I said in the intro, Tsubaki wants war for his teacher, and when you learn what Kuro did, it would make you step back. However, in the one kind of shining light moment for Mahiru, okay, well, second outside of breakdancing your way to freedom, was him telling Kuro, "Ding dong, bitch! You were wrong!" And maybe instead of bottling it up, you talk about things. I've always been a personal sucker for series that like to delve into morality and not take it to a standard effect. Shonen series, to me, seem to have this odd fetish with lone wolf heroes and anti-heroes, and saying, yes, but we know you killed a lot, and mostly killed your village, but you were just finding yourself, sweetheart. Come home, we accept you. It's okay, baby. But hearing Captain Whitebread here telling him he still needs to figure it out was a breath of fresh air. Speaking of things that spew a lot of air, Lawless.
Oh, speak again, bright angel, for thou art as glorious to this night, being o'er my head, as is a winged messenger of heaven. That's by Shakespeare. I'm the 5th Servamp, Lawless of greed. But you can call me Lolly, or leading man, or whatever you want, okay?
And to be fair, Lawless easily became the best character in the show. Introduced about halfway through the series, I seriously thought he was going to be the absolute worst character. Then episode 10 happened and turned it all around.
I'm the one who never wanted to let go of your hand. I'm the one who wanted to keep you safe. I'm the one who wanted to protect what you wanted to protect. I'm the one who wanted to tell you that I was in love with you, Ophelia.
His anger towards Kuro became 100% justified, but just like with Mahiru and Kuro, Lick's speech to pull your head out of your ass worked just as well. For the sake of not spoiling the actual best episode of the show, I will leave it at that and encourage you to go back and watch episode 10. But now let's get to the real reason this show falls flat on its face, the finale. At this point, I'm going to actually have me, the editor, stop the video, / Shannon stop the video, and admit that this is where the show I'm actually going to spoil the whole damn thing. Like, if you actually want to go watch Servamp, please click on the tiny little cat that is sitting right here in the corner to annotate to my final thoughts. And now for what the resolution of this series was. A hug. A fucking hug. The hug of infinite forgiveness, you may say. After Mahiru went full on Kingdom Hearts and or Ghostbusters and saw Tsubaki's past. And why was Tsubaki mad besides the fact that his creator got killed? The others didn't like him. You know what? I'm gonna go back outside and scream, so I'm gonna let Riff Raff here sum up what Tsubaki's, motivation was.
But I thought you liked them. They liked you.
They didn't like me! They never liked me!
Tsubaki, a man who was just raining swords from the goddamn sky, manages to trick every hero in the show at least once, has an army of amazing killer subclasses, can mess with people's minds, and he just wants to be loved. That is really fucking stupid. And no, pacifism is never a weak way out. Badly done pacifism is. You can pull off a stunt ending like this, but it needs to have hints throughout it. I do not think the endings of films like Paranorman or Kubo and the Two Strings would have been as powerful if the writing team did not lay down subtle and not so subtle hints to it. And this is Servamp's biggest flaw. It has no idea what it wants to be. Does it want to be a thoughtful action show or a crazy comedy action show? Sometimes it is all just too much, but in the end, it's still kind of fun and really, really serviceable. I've seen 10 times worse, but I've seen a lot better. Hell, even in this year. However, let's talk about the real failure of a fucker in this. The opening song. I hate this opening song.
Every time I wanna die.
It's so annoying and hard to listen to. Sure, the animation was okay, but the song. You had old codecs and you wasted it! Normally I would not be this mad, but I love me some old codecs. They sing some of my favorite opening and ending songs, and one of their band members has to be one of my favorite seiyus, and may or may not voice one of my husbandos.
Why'd you scare me like that, Sakuya?
It was a joke! You seemed so serious, I thought I'd play along and maybe make something up!
Anyway, how's your neck doing, Ryusei? Does it hurt much?
Speaking of which, way to waste a cast Japanese version! You had Yuki Ono as the bland Tatsu, you made Junichi Suwabe one-off characters, hell you wasted Daisuke Ono, Wataru Hatano, and Hiroshi Kamiya! You know what? I at least forgive you because you made Tatsuhika Suzuki the villain, so I guess we're cool. But let's talk about the real reason I could actually finish this anime, the dub. Sunny Strait is an outright madman who filled this dub with more ham performances than a Subway bar, and had more experimental casting choices than I could shake a stick at. While not all hit their mark, like Chris Bevins as Masano or Chris Straker as Tetsu, they still work. Then there's the absolute blast that you can tell Micah Solosad's having as Tsubaki and Mike McFarland as Belkia. Also, there is Justin Briner as a one-off character who I will only refer to as Dr. Drugs. But there are two real stars of the dub, Chuck Huber as Kuro and Ian Sinclair as Lawless. Check out episode 10 if you want to see Lawless's range as a character, but also in the dub if you want to see Sinclair's take on the character. But if you honestly just want a really easy way to watch the series, just go watch it through the dub, honestly.
Whoa, hey Kuro, are you alright?
Quite the opposite, really. My body is definitely going to be sore tomorrow. This is your fault.
You're complaining about sore muscles?
So, overall, how is Servamp? It happened. The show's not that bad, but honestly you could be watching a better series like Noragami, Seraph of the End, or even Bunago Stray Dogs if you want to watch a supernatural meets modern world action series. Would I go as far to say that Servamp is the worst anime I've watched from 2016? Oh god, no, I've sat through First Love, Monster 100, and Oz Mafia. But it didn't come anywhere close to some of the best shows of this year. However, if you just want to sit back, relax, turn off your brain, and riff something, Servamp may just be the show for you. I'm Megan, and if you need me and the little fuzzy thermodynamic reactor are gonna go work on my birthday top 10 and go to Youmacon. See you guys!
Want to support the production? Check out our brand new store on Store Envy. For a small price, you can have a one-of-a-kind poster made by yours truly. If you can only give a small amount to help us out, check out our Patreon page. Any amount you wish to give us goes towards our production needs, so anything you can give us helps us a lot. To keep up with the latest in Anime America stuff, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and even Tumblr. Be sure to like, favorite, and subscribe to Anime America for more awesome reviews and top 10 lists. If you're interested in anything of pop culture, be sure to subscribe to Pop Spectrum. Thank you all for watching, and stay tuned to Anime America.